Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys don't already know, I am currently serving in the United States Air Force. I've been in for over 6 years and I enjoyed a lot. But recently, within the past few months, there have been a lot of changes going on in my military career. The biggest being, if you couldn't already guess from the title, me becoming a flight attendant in the United States Air Force. So in this video, I just want to share with you guys my journey on how I exactly got into this mindset of transitioning into becoming a flight attendant and how that actual training went. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys already know that I've been posting all my stories in real time about the process throughout this entire process of me going into this training. And if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you guys should definitely do that because I have still a lot of training to do to becoming a fully qualified flight attendant in the Air Force. And of course, there are timestamps in this video. If you guys want to jump to a particular section, you guys can definitely do that. Otherwise, if you guys have any other questions, just watch the video. And if I still don't answer your question, just leave a comment down below or message me on any of my social media apps. But other than that, let's begin my story. So first off, you may be asking yourself, and I'm pretty sure everyone has asked me this when I mention it to them, and they're like, the Air Force really has flight attendants? And yes, the Air Force really does have a flight attendant as an actual job. And I don't blame people for not knowing that. I honestly did not know that until I actually tried to start to retrain and I saw that that was one of the options. In all honesty, it is the least manned AFSC in the Air Force, and AFSC is basically just Air Force lingo standing for Air Force Specialty Code, which is basically just the job that you have within the Air Force. It's a bunch of numbers and letters. Anyways, like I said, it is the least manned AFSC in the entire Air Force, and that's why a lot of people don't know about it, and most of the people can go their entire military careers and not even know that that was a thing. And yes, during the time that I'm currently recording this, I am considered a flight attendant. I am a senior airman stationed here in San Antonio, but in a month or a few weeks from now, I'm going to be moving to Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, because that's going to be my new duty station. So I don't know if by the time I'm uploading this that I will already be there or in the process of going there. So again, check my socials to make sure you keep up with everything that I do in real time. But I guess before I go into how I actually became a flight attendant, I guess I should backtrack a little bit and share with you guys the story of how I actually started out in the Air Force, what I did beforehand, and the thought process of me actually transitioning into wanting to change my job in the first place. So like I previously mentioned, I have been in the Air Force for 6 years. I joined the Air Force and I went to basic training in May of 2016. Basic training was some of the best experiences of my life, and that's mostly because it really just introduced me and threw me into the life of being in the military. Of course, it was very hard. It was the hardest thing that I ever did up at that point, but it was very rewarding when I actually did graduate. So I originally went in as a linguist for the military. So of course, after basic training, I had to do some tech school for learning my language, and of course that is in Monterey, California. I absolutely loved it up there so much. It was some of the best memories I had of my life because it was just such a freeing experience, and that area in general is so beautiful. I recommend, if you guys haven't gone there, check out everything that they have to offer there. But as you could probably already guess, I did not survive in that job long at all. It honestly took a lot out of me, and of course I feel like the biggest problem with that was just it was moving too fast because you have to learn an entire language in such a little amount of time compared to a native speaker. So I couldn't keep up and I ultimately failed out of the course, but that is okay because DLI, which is the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California, is one of the highest washout rates for AFSCs, which of course you don't necessarily get kicked out of the Air Force. As you can tell, if you fail a language, you more than likely get reclassed into a new job. So that happened to me, and I ultimately retrained into the job that I've currently been doing for the past 5 years, which is a fusion analyst, a 1-4 Bravo if you guys want to look that up. It was basically the linguist job just without the language, so I still had to be on the computer. I still had to work inside a building and work inside an office. So that is the life that I basically known my entire military career, which isn't a bad thing, but the unfortunate thing is that I did not like my job at all. I know a lot of people love their job, doing all the cool things that they usually do in my career field, but the thing is that I wanted to join the Air Force to not be in an office job, and yet I got stuck in a job that's probably considered one of the most obvious jobs that I could have been in. And even though I still did have a lot of fun in my career field, I definitely 100% knew that I did not want to do this for my entire military career if I did end up staying in for the 20 years of service that I wanted to do. But unfortunately for me, I could not do much because I signed up for 6 years and I can't really start to think about retraining or getting out and doing a different job until probably the last 1 to 2 years. But that didn't stop me from wanting to research about what I wanted to do and what I needed to do to get out of my current AFSC. I knew that I still wanted to stay in the military because I had no idea what I was gonna do if I actually went out of the military. I'm pretty sure I could do a lot more things, but I'm totally unprepared to do any of that real adult stuff. So I'm gonna be staying in the military. But even though I wanted to stay in, I didn't know exactly what job I wanted to do, so I just did some research. So I felt kind of lost. But around this time where I was just starting to really think about what I wanted to do, I was a permanent party member at the dormitories in Lackland Air Force Base. And every time I lived there and I walked around the base, I would always see these cargo airplanes and just basically these military planes just fly overhead all the time. And I just always thought to myself that would be a cool job to do. I necessarily didn't know if I actually wanted to do it or even if I could do it, but I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice just to be up there, I guess just flying to different places? That's essentially what I love to do. I love to travel. I like to go on planes. I like to go outside and look at the window and just see everything below me and looking forward to going to a new destination. And then this of course started my interest in possibly getting a job where I would probably go onto an airplane. So I guess for me, my flight attendant journey really starts in the fall of 2020. And we all know what happened in 2020. COVID was everywhere. It was a horrible time, a horrible year, but it was, I guess, all that time to think in my house and to contemplate what I wanted to do with the rest of my career, I guess motivated me to discover that even though I was not necessarily within my retraining window for a 6-year enlisted airman, there were a handful of jobs on this list called the shortfall list, and those were jobs that even though you were outside of your window to do, if you still were inside a certain amount of time before your contract ended, you could try and apply for those jobs because those jobs really needed people to be in those career fields. And then when I found that out, I was like, okay, this is cool. This might be my actual chance to get out of my current AFSC and go into a new one. So I decided to try it, apply for it, and I looked at the different jobs that they had. And 2 of those jobs were stuff that I actually really wanted to do. And those were the Loadmaster AFSC and also the Flight Attendant AFSC. And those 2 were just basically the only 2 that I wanted to do out the entire list. So I applied for it, and surprisingly, I got approved to try and be eligible to retrain for those jobs. So I was like, okay, cool, this could possibly happen. But unfortunately for me, I'm pretty sure you guys can tell by the timing and everything that I did not end up getting the flight attendant or the Loadmaster job during that time, mostly due to some medical things, and I honestly didn't know that I needed certain medical forms because I was going to be considered a flyer. So by the time I actually started that process and trying to get all those paperwork that I needed, and unfortunately all the spots were filled up and taken, so I could not apply for those jobs anymore until the next retraining cycle, which was going to be in about a year from the time that I originally applied. And then I guess that's where this story really picks up, because on August 2nd of 2021 was the start of the retraining application window for everyone in the Air Force. Hey everyone, today was the day where you could start applying for retraining, and I was really excited but really nervous because the jobs that I wanted, which was either a Loadmaster or a flight attendant, those only had a limited amount of spots. I think for the Loadmaster it was like 14 first term airmen, and for the flight attendant there was like 10. I was really nervous because like the last time when I tried applying, I think there was more than that, and I think it's out of the entire Air Force, so it's pretty demanding. And then there was the thing where I was eligible to apply to retrain, and I was like, this is it, it's happening. I think I actually sent out a few screenshots. The first page, it was just saying that the following things would determine my potential eligibility to retrain, and then there was the AFSC selection, and the only ones that I really wanted were the Loadmaster and the Flight Attendant. So I was like, okay, so I just clicked on those check marks. At the end of that, I submitted it, and then it said successfully submitted. Thank you for submitting your retraining request. To update your incident, or if you have any questions, please click here. Then it just went to the incident itself, and then I was like, okay. The last time I did this, which was like in October or September, end of September, beginning of October, it took about 6 days from when I initially submitted it to when I got the next email saying that I was eligible to apply for the job. So I was like, okay, it's probably gonna take a week or so from the day that I did it today. I got another email. It was around 11:40 that I got the email basically saying that I was eligible for both of the jobs, and I was like, what? It's so soon, like everything's just moving by so fast. I mean, like, I like it, like I'm glad that's moving fast, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I did not expect this. So I was like, okay, and then I just went in, and then I had to submit some documents and everything like that. So I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, even though I did do this before, but now it's like kind of different, and I kind of don't remember anything, and I don't want to mess it up. I don't know, I'm kind of scared. I really hope that I do get either one of those jobs, honestly, preferably what was it, Flight Attendant, because I feel like I'm good to go with everything. Yeah, I know I have it good now, but this isn't the life that I want to live for the rest of my career. As much as I love the very few friends I have left here in San Antonio, I'm ready to move on and start fresh. So yeah, this was my first day. I did all this within the first day of my retraining process, which I did not expect to do this much. Hopefully, if future me is watching this, hopefully things here turn out okay. I don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, hopefully I can update this or just vlog my experiences, and hopefully maybe this might help out some people in the future as well. But yeah, after that first day, things moved pretty quickly with my retraining process. Of course, there were a few complications. There were some forms that I still needed to get, and there were some forms that I needed to get updated. And it was pretty stressful because in addition to trying to get all those paperwork and everything that I needed to apply for the Loadmaster and the Flight Attendant job, I also had to check how many spots were available for each AFSC, and every so often they would go down bit by bit, and that would mean that a person would take that spot, which, I mean, good for them that they got the spot, but then for me it was super stressful because I was like, if those spots got filled up for both of the jobs, that was the end of my retraining application. And it's funny enough because around the end of August there were a couple of flight attendants who were flying into Randolph Air Force Base, and they were basically having this open house thing where any AFSC that was interested could go up to Randolph, and they would basically just answer some questions or to give you a tour of their plane. So I was just like, just my luck. And of course I went to Randolph Air Force Base, and when I got there I was just like, this is the best thing ever. I was near this flight line, I could hear the engines roaring from all the planes, and the sun was coming up. It was a beautiful sunrise, and I was just like, this is getting me so excited. I've never done this before. Interesting. And then I just heard like the planes and stuff starting in the background, and I was just like, I love this. This is what I want to do. Oh my gosh. This is literally all I want to do. Like, I don't know, I just think about like how I could be doing this, but instead I'm just literally in an office job. And of course the day went on, and then we did get to talk to a few flight attendants, and they also brought us into the aircraft they were flying on, and they gave us a grand tour of that, and that was pretty awesome. I could not film anything in there because I was like, I don't know if I can film anything in there, but it was such a great experience. But yeah, after that I was just really pumped, and it gave me more motivation and more of an ambition to try and actually retrain into not only only flight attendant, but just loadmaster as well. But of course, I didn't really have time to dwell on that too much because a few days after that, I had to go on leave to go back to my family in California. Anyways, I went on leave September 8th to California. It was a great trip. It was a very enjoyable trip, very memorable one for me. But it was even more memorable because the next morning on September 9th, I got an email. It said that I was approved for the flight attendant job, and I was freaking out. I was so happy. And of course, it said that I would be notified later on in another email when exactly I would be able to start to retrain. And I was just so happy. I told my family, they freaked out. They absolutely loved it. The months went by, the holidays went by, and before I knew it, it was March, and I could not be happier. But I also was pretty nervous because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But fortunately for me, there was a point of contact that I had in this ETCA, which is basically an information site where it tells you all the things that you need to go into training for tech school and stuff. It is Sunday, March 27th. Anyways, I was like, might as well just visit where I'm gonna be at in essentially less than 24 hours. I still don't know what the hell tomorrow is gonna consist of. And that makes me really worried. And then on March 28th is when I began my tech school for flight attendant. Kind of. Because I found out that instead of me going straight into becoming a flight attendant, I actually had to do this Aircrew Fundamentals course, which basically groups me up with other people in different AFCs who are still flying jobs, who still had to go through tests and stuff to actually learn about the basics of becoming an aircrew member, such as, you know, like pressure changes and getting different kind of tests to make sure that we are eligible to actually be in a flying job. But I had to do that for like 2 weeks, and those were pretty stressful, not gonna lie. And then fortunately for me, I graduated Aircrew Fundamentals and I was super happy. And then the following week is when I actually started my flight attendant technical school, and I was just super excited. I remember being like nervous the first day, but I was really just looking forward to actually starting to learn my actual job. Okay, so guess who is starting my actual flight attendant stuff this week? And I even got my own nameplate, and I got some mints, so it's fancy, and I'm so excited. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, April 13th. I have my first test today in my flight attendant course, which I actually haven't talked to you guys this week since starting my flight attendant course, and so far it's been a lot. I mean, like, I feel like it's pretty easy stuff. It's just a lot to remember. The first day was good, pretty easy. We mostly just went over the packet, did introductions. That was pretty nice. The second day was yesterday. I mean, we finished the packet, and we also had 2 PCs, or progress checks, which are basically tests. I freaked out for both of them. They were just filling out forms. Okay, so when I signed up to become a flight attendant, I didn't realize that I would have to shop and basically become a 5-star chef. Yeah. Guess what I did? That is what I did. I made my first ever meal. Looks nice. It was really stressful. I almost cried, but it was really cool.
In the C20, which is compartment. So you can access it in flight. No, it is not for.
Oh, before exiting the aircraft, you need to grab the emergency equipment, which is here.
Grab emergency equipment,
Which one?
is here.
Which one? What do you want to grab?
Evacuate. Urgent. Urgency.
Seated!
Man, can you please block this exit?
Stay seated!
Wait. Stay seated. Stay.
And And then finally, the day that I've been looking forward to for so long finally came. And that was on May 12th of 2022 when I graduated flight attendant school and I got my wings and I was officially considered a flight attendant. Good morning, everyone. And this is probably the last time that I'm gonna be recording myself like here in this parking lot, because if you can't tell by what I'm wearing already, I'm graduating and I'm really excited. I don't know if it's gonna hit me yet that I'm graduating. I don't know. And of course I get this freaking pimple right here. And I just remember that day. I just remember being so happy that day. And it was a little bit surreal too, because like all of the stress that I've been putting on myself, not just for the past few weeks of tech school, but for the past few months, the past few years, that I've been dreaming and yearning for a day where I could actually be out of my previous AFSC for Fusion Analyst, and that was the day that everything changed, and I could not have been any more happier to receive my certificate. We graduated, I graduated, I have wings, and we're just in class, we got dismissed, but I just wanted to show you guys where I've been living, I guess, for the past month. So this is our kitchen area. This was my pod with everything in it. And yeah, I've had very fun times here, very stressful times, but you know, it's all good. And then this is our classroom. So we enter through there, through the hangar. Here's the kitchen, and then we go here, and that's the classroom. And then here's our class. Hello. Okay. Yes, and this is where we've been for like the past month. 25 academic days long. Many tears were shed.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
But let me just tell you guys, the happiness didn't last too long, because right after that, on May 14th, which was 2 days after my graduation date, I had to fly to Spokane, Washington. I had to go to SERE training, which stands for Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape, which basically all aircrew members need to do this course to basically simulate what it would be like if we were in like a hostage situation or during wartime, what we would do to survive basically. And that was an experience. Of course, I'm gonna be making a separate vlog on that, so you guys should definitely stay subscribed and watch out for that video when I upload it. But anyways, it is the middle of June, or at least that's when I'm recording this, and the next step for me is to try and actually out-process Lackland so I can go to Scott Air Force Base. Currently, that is pretty stressful for me because I still don't even have my orders, so I don't know what's gonna be happening within the next month or two, how that's gonna go. But again, if you guys follow me on my social media accounts, you guys will definitely know firsthand how that's going for me. You guys can definitely ask me all the questions that you want about this process, and not just this process, but just any questions that you have about me, about SERE, about my flight attendant tech school, about my Aircrew Fundamentals tech school, about the process to actually try and apply to become a flight attendant, or just questions about the military or the Air Force in general. You guys are more than welcome to ask me any of those questions on my social media accounts or in the comments down below. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to my story of how I became a flight attendant. Hopefully it was very entertaining for you guys. Hopefully you guys made it this far. If you guys did, just let me know in the comments down below as well. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all the usual things. Follow me on my social media accounts, just keep up with everything that I do. Again, if you guys want to see my SERE video or my SERE vlog about how that experience went, stay subscribed because I will be uploading that hopefully pretty soon. And yeah, until the next video, the wonder won't stop. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Boo!